the myths of drinking, right? Challenging the myths, because everyone has that case report, right? They have that grandma or that grandpa or that uncle or whatever that smoked and drank their entire life and they're 130 years old. And so that's the power of the case report, because you have a direct personal connection with that person. That is the exception to the rule, but you're using that illogically as the evidence. And that's really hard for humans to disconnect or disassociate from themselves. Like, I see that one person and they're fine and they did great. Why can't I do it? I'm related to them. So like, if my uncle is 150 years old and he drank 3 scotches a day, I could probably do that and I'll live to be 150 years old too. But again, like I said, medicine is really complex, and that's not what we're looking at when we're looking at these studies. We're looking at big cohorts and big populations. And remember, the people who died from alcohol complication, you're not seeing them. They're not in your mind. They're not in your monkey sphere of you to be able to remember, like, oh, man, died at 45 from alcoholic cirrhosis. And yeah, but Uncle Harry is 150. So, and then your math, that could be really hard. And we don't do a really great job of accepting contradictory information that comes to us, especially if we have a belief system that we've already created.
Why do you think these myths keep going, even though there's data that kind of contradicts them?
May I?
Yeah, please.
I think he kind of said it like people want to believe what they want to believe.
Okay.
And am I wrong?
That's my best guess, right? Like, this is not my specialty, but we see it over and over again, is that you try to bring this evidence in front of somebody and then they will counter you with that case report, right? Like that one person they knew. And you're like, that's great, but that's not talking about the population. And it's hard for us to think in those abstract terms because we have such a emotional connection with the one person that we've seen, right? Or we really want that to be true. So we're going to use that as the evidence, and I'm going to disregard anything else that comes across my plate because these papers are boring. Right. They're hard to read.
One thing that doesn't get brought up, I think, is the type of alcohol. Not just beer versus wine, but the quality of anything you consume. It's like saying bread is bread. No. There's very nutrient-dense bread, and then there's like garbage that's just fluff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I wonder, is the quality, the amount, the timing, there's so many variables involved in this. Oh, my grandpa had 3 scotches a day, and you're drinking whatever, pop off or stuff you made in your basement or something. I wonder if that also plays into the quality of what you're bringing into your body.
That is a good question. I don't think anyone's done that specifically. I would guess, there's a couple of things to bring up there. They can be pretty high calorie content. That is not helpful. When you're talking about bringing a 500 calorie margarita versus, 100 calorie light drink, whatever. Again, alcohol is damaging. And so some of the things that we start seeing with increased rates with alcohol drinkers are upper airway and oral esophageal cancers, stomach cancers, et cetera. And that's part of the thing that we see over and over again with our studies is that, alcohol is a risk factor for certain types of cancer. And a lot of those have to do with what the alcohol is directly contacting. So, liver, pancreas, mouth, tongue, esophagus, etc. What it's hitting, it's, causing some damage. It burns. And when it burns, there's certain burn that's good, probably exercise, but there's certain burn that you're like,